Hello, SFL. It's me, Guy, and Will.
Yeah, I'm sorry missed last week. I apologize. I couldn't be there. Hopefully you were able to do it by yourself.
No, I actually had Little Willie with me last week. It was a good time. Little Willie came.
Well, that guy, you can't trust that guy. Can't trust him. He's got this stupid accent too. Can't deal with him.
That sounds rather culturalist. Are you saying people from the South are dumber than people?
100%.
Oh, okay.
100%.
Um, so let's get right into these activity waivers real quick. So everybody seem to go all out for Will Levis, huh? Everybody believes in him. Went for $86 to Chalupa. Darren went for 80. Barely missed out. But that's not something we see very often. What do you think about this, Will?
I mean, listen, he made a big splash last week, and I think everybody wants to go for it. And obviously, Chalupa needs a quarterback, having Kyle Trask for 6 weeks. So I think she finally said to herself, maybe I should go get a quarterback,
hmm
and especially with Cousins now hurt for the season. So listen, he was the better quarterback of them all. I was shocked that nobody came after Taysom Hill again after I dropped him. So thanks for everybody for not doing that.
Yeah, I mean the only one person was Magic School Bus and dropped to $0. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't look at waivers at all this week because I was out of town and I just didn't bother looking. Feel bad. I should have looked and I just lost track of the days. Um, so I put in zero waivers. But doesn't seem to be any other big ones. I mean, I'm surprised that Brett Ripon was the only other was only claimed by House of Priapism. He spent twenty five
Yeah.
dollars for no reason because nobody else even wanted him. I'm shocked. I'm shocked about that. Um, but
The
yeah,
Taylor Heineke one was special because $11 to $10. That was Victor.
yeah,
Victor probably was a little bit pissed about that one. I could say because
yeah.
to lose out by one, and a big pickup for him because obviously he's starting this week. And
hmm
that's what the reports are now. So good for him.
Um, let's just go ahead and go into these scores. I'm gonna go and just look at your game. Um, 227 versus 196. Super close. Uh, both just it seems like a very high scoring week in general in
Mm-hmm.
fantasy this week. I feel like
Yeah,
um, Kirk
I never
or
felt comfortable. I could tell you that, and even when she took out Monse Brown because she did the whole McCaffrey thing, thinking he might not play. I still didn't feel great. And I mean, Taj Boyd had 18 points on like really one touchdown, basically. So,
yeah, you doubled her touchdowns. You got 10 of
hmm
5. Um, and she could have had a slightly better lineup. She didn't start Ammonia St. Brown, which is shocking. But it wouldn't have mattered regardless.
no, it wouldn't have.
227 is a lot of points. 10 touchdowns is hard. The team gets 10 touchdowns. That team is probably. Um, yeah.
And my problem is that I keep not starting Gus Edwards because I can't trust him. He's getting 60 points the last 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and making me want to have to think about it. And I don't like that.
Well, and you know the like the second you put him in your lineup
Oh,
again, he's
100%.
gonna score under 10 points yet again.
I know. That's why I'm fiddling with Pickens and what's his face over in Tampa right now because I don't know who to start this week at wide receiver. But let's look at your game. A crushing defeat for my man Campbell Soup over there. Campbell Soup got destroyed by the Guillotine, 243. Was that the highest score this week,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it was barely.
So $15 coming your way, but gosh, the injuries that are piling up um, for Ariel Adi. He had Allen had his big game like always. Diggs had a pretty mediocre game comparatively to Allen's production, but we had three,
Yeah,
four,
no
five.
touchdowns. None of the touchdowns went his way.
Yeah, 5 touchdowns to what your 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So 7 to 4 touchdowns. So your guys just I mean, you had an amazing
I
week.
just had him off the
And
week. I just
ETN, what a great trade that was for you, getting somebody that's reliable. I mean, you've traded for 2 running backs this year.
Mm-hmm.
So look at you. And it's really just about Tyreek continues his exploding, and that Shahid, gosh, 3 catches but 150 yards, crazy game for
Yeah,
him.
I mean, he's like my guy that is just I put him in there, and I hope he catches a long bomb for a touchdown and gets some return yards. That's it.
Yeah,
And he's like a top 11 wide receiver for the year.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Adi putting up Diggs and Eckler on the board, the draft board. What was it called? The trade
Hmm.
board or whatever you want to call it. Was going to be huge for people like myself to try to go get some money because I have enough talent on the bench to help take that blow if I can get a big guy.
I would definitely be going for that move, but I have to win now. I can't, trade for injured guys. So it's good for the people who have to go out
Mm-hmm.
and try to get these guys who maybe will come back later.
Where are you going?
Let's go ahead and look at you know what? I'll leave martial law and constant diarrhea to you. Let's look at House of Priapism Magic School Bus. So,
Okay.
so 230 to 160 in the favor of Gary and the House of Priapism. Um, very low touchdown game from the Magic School Bus. Only 4. That explains as 160 points. Mahomes total dud against Denver.
Mm-hmm.
Like shocked. Denver's Kansas City only scored 9 points against.
Well, I also think he came up. He was sick, like that day,
Oh,
so he
that's
wasn't feeling good.
right. That's
So,
right.
but still, like, I mean, it hurts everybody. Obviously, Kelsey and everybody else is not having the big games that they should because he's not playing well. And of course, Denver has this amazing game and wins the game, which is crazy too.
Yeah. Doesn't help that Puka didn't have the great game with Stafford going out either.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I'm worried about Puka and Cooper Cup with their production with a
Out
new
Stafford.
quarterback in there.
On the other side, 9 touchdowns for Gary. Yeah, I
Hmm.
mean 230 points. That's about right. Um, even though he had Stafford getting hurt, he still just had a monster game. Alvin Kamara looking great. Like he looks like that offense basically.
Hmm.
Gets peppered with targets every single year or so every week. Um, but
And
it
I
was
hate that you
really,
traded CeeDee Lamb to him.
yeah,
I mean,
really
just
that did it. 49 points for CD Lamb.
but monster game, and
Monster.
he's gonna have his team is on the bench side as well. He's had Cole Kmet with 20 points on the bench, so
Mm-hmm.
you know there's nothing that obviously that Dylan could have done this week.
No, bad week. Granted.
Well, then I'll head over to the Martian Law game as you said earlier. So we had 178 to 169, a huge win for Robert, where it was unpredicted the entire time going into that last game, with Devonte Adams getting 3 points, obviously
Yeah,
very
what the hell
frustrated.
was that?
I thought he was going to get traded, except they just blew up the entire front office and their coaching staff. So
That
we'll
might
see
be the
what
right
happens
move.
now. What'd you say?
That might be the right move for them.
Oh yeah, and then they're getting rid of Garoppolo, or they're not. They're moving on from him
Mm-hmm.
again. So we'll see if that works out. But his kicker kept him in the game. We always love kickers in this SFL league. But
It is
the
12
kicker
point
kept her in the
difference.
game.
It's a 12-point
Which is
difference. It's a 12-point
eh,
difference between the two of them.
yeah, still he still had a lot of points the kicker side. But Burrow with that 46 huge game really kept him in because his team. Robert's team didn't really do much except for really Burrow and Gibbs. And, that was the win right there. Gibbs, that big game. So tough loss for Kyle, but kind of deserving in a way because he's gotten really lucky this year.
Yeah.
So kind of a little bit of bad luck to help out, as well as, keeping him back in the division a little bit for me, which is good. I like it.
The problem with Kyle was that we said this from the beginning is he didn't draft any running backs, and he was hoping
Mm-hmm.
that he had like guys who are gonna secretly gonna make it. And when those guys that you hope secretly gonna make it don't make it, and then you don't trade for any, and then you don't find any on the waiver wires, this is what happens here. You get 11 points from both of the backs,
Yeah.
and then it's hard to win
And
like
not,
that.
and not having the Lamar Andrews blowout really hurt as well. So,
Yeah.
all right, where are you going?
Elderly gangbang.
Okay.
He came in second in the league in points this week, 239 to 170. Look at all these touchdowns. 7 just from his quarterbacks, 10 in total. Or is that 11 in total? 11 total touchdowns. Um, yeah, you almost caught up to me at the end there. I was rooting against Josh Jacobs so I could win the $15. Luckily, Josh Jacobs didn't push him over the edge. On the other side, erectile dysfunction, 8 touchdowns for him, on only 170 points. It always shocks me, like when a team gets like that many touchdowns and they struggle on points. And I think it's gonna be right here on Cooper Cup with the 4 receptions, 21 yards. Very poor showing from the running backs. Deontay Foreman didn't do anything.
Well, it's kind of a bad thing for him in the way that Foreman had a 40-point game last week.
Yeah.
And then Johnson's coming out, Roshan's coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And, you kind of, and if you look at his team, he's got Bigsby, who got negative 0.1 points, and that's it on his bench.
Yeah.
So there was kind of a no choice decision right there. So, he probably needs to go get some running back somehow.
You desperately hope that Montgomery comes back. But even his wide receivers didn't do much, Keenan Allen is normally like the beast guy, and even though he got 10 targets, he only got 18 points. That doesn't really feel that good. It feels kind of bad. Yeah, it just feels rough for Jordan taking this loss. Nothing you could do when you're up against Monster.
Well, talking about bad losses, Victor comes with his team, and they knock out D-Haas. What a strange game this was. D-Haas getting 4 points for Myers, which I didn't think he was going to catch anything. Late in that game, he got that quick catch, but you would have thought he was going to, D-Haas was going to walk away with this one. He had 6 touchdowns to Victor's 4 touchdowns. Oh, no. Wait, Sam Howell 4 touchdowns himself. Jeez, I'm miscounting that. So it was 7-6. So he did have more touchdowns. And really, it was just Taylor. It was Sam Howell. Sam Howell is another game.
Yeah,
it's over. Kind of thing. So I don't think you can say that Victor can make this happen every week for sure. We'll see. His bench, Garoppolo's done now. He had 30 points from Dotson on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
So. And then, of course, D-Haas didn't start Russell Wilson, but it would have gotten closer, but it would not have won the game. So I think this is a poor showing from D-Haas. Hopefully he can have it going next week. But, congrats to Victor getting his second win.
Yeah, congrats, Victor.
So what are you looking at for next week?
So next week is going to be a brutal bye week for, I think, every. I know my game against D-Haas, we got a bunch of bye weeks, and we got probably going to play the waiver wire a little bit before we set our final lineups. Our optimum as of now, before messing with it with getting anything from the waivers to try to plug up this team, we're only 2 points away. Very big game. I'm 3-5. He's 4-4. Both of us really need this win, to be honest. So that will be a very, very close game. Very important.
And I think that based upon just by the team, the players that are in right now, I think his biggest thing is if Ford plays for Cleveland,
Hmm.
what will happen there, and not having his second quarterback. Obviously, he still doesn't have a second quarterback. That's really what's killing him this
Yeah,
week. I
both of
think
us don't
that
have
you
a
should
second
win.
quarterback.
Oh, that's right. You don't have a second quarterback
Yeah,
either.
both of us have to go to the waiver
Oh
wire and try
my.
to find something or play one of our guys.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think I think this unfortunately I think might go to DeHaas just because the people that you're missing are so vital to your points.
yeah, ETN, Ayuk, and Purdy. It's pretty
Yeah.
rough.
So this will be a tough one for you. Hopefully you can make something happen.
But I mean, he's missing Wilson, Lawrence, and Ridley as well. So it's not like you know the bye weeks on his side are pretty rough.
In my week, he does have Pickett's. Actually, they said he's going to play, so that's good for him. For Robert, I'm looking at Robert in my game. Robert, you know, his team has got a lot of question marks going into this week. I don't know if Drake London's going to play or not, but having to start Tony Dell, and probably two tight ends. And even though McBride had a big game last game, I'm not so sure that's going to happen again now that whoever's starting. I think who is it? The rookie quarterback starting in Arizona this week.
Yeah, they haven't officially announced it. It could be Kyler.
Well, either way, I like my even though I'm losing, of course, my number one player in Christian McCaffrey. That's
Hmm.
my only bye week this week because I got bye week in week 5, week 6, and week 7. So I think my team's going to be pretty steady the rest of the way. So I feel comfortable this might be a good win for me this week against Robert.
Yeah, he's missing Gibbs. Like you're missing McCaffrey, but he's also missing Gibbs, and I just think your team is general. I think he's hoping that Justin Fields comes back this week. I don't know if the
Yeah,
Bears even start him. If he does, maybe they do.
I saw that he wasn't playing this week. They're going to wait till the
Yeah.
bye week,
Hmm.
and then they'll play him after that. But I did see that he's starting tonight. Pickett's going to start tonight, so he could just throw Pickett in against that Tennessee defense.
Yeah. Looking over here, next game, we got House of Priapism versus Erectile Dysfunctional for Lollipop. Priapism's got a good number of outs considering we got Jacksonville and Detroit boys. He was going to miss Montgomery anyway because Montgomery's injured, but he's got no Christian Kirk, no Williams from Detroit. He was play Tanks Bigsby anyway. On the other side, um, Kittle is the big loss, and Sutton is the big loss from Gary. So,
I'm not so sure if Sutton would have been playing. I don't think he starts Sutton anyways. But
yeah,
is he starting Carr and Ripken this week? Is he starting Carr and Jones? Because I know Jones should be back this week.
mm-hmm.
So that will be interesting. All these quarterbacks on his team,
He's got a lot of
and
them.
only really one is healthy.
Mm-hmm.
I guess 2 are healthy. But interesting week.
I
Interesting
just
week
like Gary's team more. I just think
Yeah.
he just has a stronger team overall. We'll see if CeeDee Lamb keeps it up. As soon as I got rid of him, he blows up. So,
Well, it was one of those. It's those things with AJ Brown too. AJ Brown complained, and then all of a sudden you see these monster games. CeeDee Lamb's complaining. Now he's getting all these monster games. We'll see if that continues.
what game do you want to?
I'm just gonna look at the elderly gangbang. This is gonna be an interesting game because I think that even though Kim is have Jared Goff on the bye, and of course Ahmad St. Brown the bye. I think they're really undervaluing her team a little bit, and so I think that she might shock because Deontay Johnson is becoming a lot more part of that offense than I thought he ever would be. He had a monster game last week, and Metcalf was a little injured last week. I think he's going to have a bigger game, and Pollard had a weak game because they were winning by so much that they kind of just took him out at the end. So I think this is going to be a better week than the scores say. I think that Holden will win, but at the same time, I think that Chalupa's got a chance here.
Yeah, Holmes' team's blown up for the last couple of weeks. He's really overperforming, and I think maybe his team just is good. Maybe it's because we had Taylor on the IR, and he's finally
Hmm.
coming up, get 10 games.
And he's not suffering from bye weeks. And
Yeah.
that Dobbs trade with me, I thought that was a good trade because Dobbs is going to be replaced soon. But of course, he gets traded to Minnesota, and it looks like he might be the Minnesota quarterback after this week, which is good
Hmm.
for him. Where are you going now?
Campbell Soup, Magic School Bus. Campbell Soup's projected to win 50. And when you look over to the school bus side, there's a lot of buys, but I'm not sure they any of them would really be that big of an impact other than Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram is the big bye week that he's going to miss on the tight end. And on Campbell Sip's not really suffering for any buys. He's got a
Yeah.
kicker and a wide receiver that he rarely plays on bye. So, yeah.
And getting Heineke was huge for him because obviously Ritter's not starting this
Yep.
week, and so that was big to have that second quarterback. But I agree with you there that I think this is actually the one bye that he's actually happy to have, which is Debo having a bye. Maybe after the bye he'll be healthy enough to play again because
Maybe.
he really needs Debo back.
Hmm.
But yeah, I agree. I don't like it, but I think Adi's going to win this week. And then last week, the last game is your game. Didn't mean to do this, but you know, we already did your game, didn't we?
Yeah, we
No,
already did mine.
you already did yours. Yeah, I
We
was
already
gonna
did
say.
yours.
We already,
We are missing constant
oh,
diarrhea and
constant diarrhea and sprained disease. Yep, sorry, I'm all mixed up. All right, so, what a crap game this is gonna be. 120 to 122. Uh, Victor's got some guys in the bye. His Sam Laporta, that's a bad one for him, and
yeah, it's a big one.
Javante. The issue for Kyle is he's got nobody in a bye. That's how bad his team is right now. Is that he's got nobody in the bye
And
and
he's
he's
still
losing to
projected
Victor.
to 120.
Yeah, I mean he'll have a kicker. He'll be predicted to win with the kicker, but yeah, I mean Lamar Jackson against Seattle. I Devonte Adams against the Giants. I mean, it's a struggle bus for Kyle this week, I think, and even though I still think he wins because I just don't think Victor's team can keep doing this.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think Victor's team comes up and blows up this week. But also Kyle's team is also struggling. You know what? I'm going to give the one to Kyle. I think Devontae Adams is finally going to start showing up. They find coaches. I think the new coaches are going to come in and make up Adams as kind of like, we didn't trade you. You're our guy now. We're going to do the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, so I think, Kyle gets a big game from Adams and pulls out the. Let's take a look at the standings real quick.
Yeah.
Uh, the Walters 5-3, 5-3, 4-4, 4-4. So close
Why am I
up.
in this division?
So close up. Uh, and it's kind of funny because Kyle has 1,375 points for the season. I think
Yeah.
he's the second lowest scoring team in the league.
Yeah, just to Victor. The two lowest scoring teams are playing each other. I mean, D Haas is only 5 points off of him, but still.
Yeah, crazy.
And
Um,
if I need another 200-point game, and I'll be averaging 200 points a week.
mhm, mhm.
And I'm 4-4. You know how it goes. 1-2 in the division, just ugh, just crazy. But I do see my stretch having a good stretch. I have Robert this week. I have Victor next week, and then it's you really just one more game against D Haas before we are in the big thing. I need to win 2 out of my 3 division games to get the playoffs. I think, but right now, as it's forecasted, all 4. Is it all 4? Oh no, it's different now. I'm actually out of the playoffs right now. The highest score is out of the
No, no, no.
playoffs. That's great.
You're in. You're in.
Oh, I'm in. Oh, I see it. I can see the little mark now. So it's the 3 of us in our division and the 3 in the Donnies.
Hmm. And then the winner of the dudes, which at the moment is Chalupa, because she's got the division record.
And I think that for sure this week, I think as we talked about before, I think Gary will win, and I don't know about D-Haas if he'll win or not. And if I beat Martian Law, you could see all 4 teams from the Walters in the playoffs next week.
Maybe, yeah.
But
Um,
interesting, the standings in the Donnies. I thought that we thought early on Dylan was going to cruise,
yeah, and
and
then
now Holden's
his team's just
number 1.
fell off a cliff. I'm not sure exactly why his team fell off a cliff, but it did.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Rob has kind of like gone on his little win streak. Holden is on the 4 game win streak, just absolutely going off. And on the dudes, 3-5, 3-5, 3-5, 2-6. Struggle town over here.
But good for you because, I mean, listen, I mean, I think that you have a good chance of winning this week. You win, these 2 guys lose, which they probably predicted to lose. You're number 1. You're just going to have to take care of business in your division.
yeah, that's really it. It seems like it's gonna come down to the final 3 games of the season when we're in the
Mm-hmm.
division games again, like the
Mm-hmm.
second rivalry week. Chalupa and I did the opposite of each other. So she started 3-0, and I started 0-3.
Yeah.
Um, but once she started 3-0, she went on a 5 game losing streak, and then I started 0-5, and I'm on a 3 game winning streak. So yeah, things are going bad over there at the Chalupa town. Um, actually, just the Lowry household in general, because the school bus has lost his tires too.
Yeah, I mean,
Actually, it was on
the
that game when he played you. That's when it started to go downhill.
well, and he's got injuries, obviously, and hopefully, I think he's hoping that Jefferson comes back as soon as possible
Hmm.
for him. But for me, I think that injuries. The worst team right now because of injuries is Campbell Soup. Campbell Soup's in dire trouble
Yeah,
to
lost a lot.
get something back. So
Yeah,
hopefully he has a good week this week, but not really. I hope not.
yeah, yeah.
So
I think that's it. I think we covered everything.
all right. Well, it was another good week. Hopefully you guys have a good weekend, and hopefully, hey, you win.
Yeah. Good night, SFL. Have a good one.